the Truth Will Not Be Silenced, the show that allows people to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. I'm your host, Melissa Woodfork White. In today's episode, we will talk about real estate home buying steps with Tammie Blasingame. Sharing our stories allows us to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. There will be a special surprise at the end of the show. Be sure to listen all the way through for the details. Our special guest today is Tammie Blasingame. She is a licensed real estate agent and associate broker in the state of Georgia. She is also a licensed real estate agent in the state of South Carolina and Florida. Tammie was born and raised in Roberta, Georgia, and currently resides in Savannah, Georgia. She is a United States military veteran and served for 9 years. Thank you for your service, Tammie.
You're welcome.
She enjoys helping people find a home they absolutely love. She strives to build relationships and to ensure her clients are as comfortable as possible during the process. Tammie is going to share with us about real estate home buying steps. Hi, Tammie. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So great to be here.
Thank you. So, Tammie, tell us, why did you become a real estate agent?
So it's actually an interesting story, but I'll start from the beginning. So just like you said, born in Georgia, I did do military time, and also once getting out of the military, I ended up working at the post office. And then after that, I just kind of like always had this like thing of where I love looking at houses. So, and then just like wanting to like help people and different things like that. And so I said, well, why not put that together, help people and, look at houses, and then eventually like investing in real estate or whatever to like build like communities and different things like that. So I had met up with this woman, here in when I got the military, and just kind of inquiring about different things and just like, hey, you know what, I could do this, probably do this. And I just had to make that tough decision because I had actually interviewed for a job. And so I was waiting on them to respond back. And then I was like trying to decide, okay, real estate or do the job. And so they ended up calling me, and they was like, hey, just want to see if you wanted to the job still. And so I was like, had to have like a real sit down with God and like, hey, God, like, okay, well, how real estate is. It works off of, commission, different things like that. But I have a job here that's, something that, I still like to do as well. So what do you want me to do? Because it's like, do I do this or I do that? And he was like, just go for it. And so it was like kind of history from there. So I told the lady, I said, well, no, you know what? I'm not going to take the job. I'm good. And I just started going in, full time.
Yeah, I would be a little bit skeptical if I had a real estate agent that didn't love houses or looking at houses. I love the fact that you were like, oh, I enjoy that. And I just love, and that's what I wanted to do. And I just went all in, and the rest is history. And so one of the things that you mentioned, and I'm not going to get us off track, is that you talked about real estate investment, and that I know that there's different avenues to real estate investment. And so that's why I was like, wow. So, maybe you can touch on that also in addition to the home buying steps if we get the opportunity.
Right. Okay.
And so, yes, that would be great. So we might have to work that one in here. So how do you help people to become real estate homeowners? Tell us about the process. Just give us we know that it's a long process, but just give us the short version so that our audience can understand and learn.
So, it is a long, like tedious process, but, I not only is it myself, but people, they get a team. So it's not only like one person that you're like, dealing with. So I do have a teammate that works with me. And so we just kind of like tag team, if I can't, do something, that she's there or whatever. And then it just so happens she's my best friend. So but we work together and we get this real estate thing done. But during the process, so the first thing is that when a buyer is inquiring about buying a house, they're like, you know what, I'm a first time home buyer. I have no idea what goes on. So our job is like to definitely educate the buyer and make sure that they know like each step. And then I know it's like a lot of information at once. So we just make sure like, hey, if you have like any other questions or any other concerns throughout the process, don't hesitate to call or don't hesitate to, send me a text and say, hey, what did you say about this? Whatever. Because during the buyer presentation is what we do in the beginning for buyers. We let them know like, hey, okay, all right, we're going to sit down, find out, what your plan is, what you want to do. And then let them know like, okay, the first step is to get in your pre-approval. And so we do have a list of like preferred lenders that we kind of give them and say, hey, these are the lenders that we kind of work with, we have a relationship with, and they're going to help you. And you don't necessarily have to use, a specific one, because, you might call one lender and then you might call another one. You're like, you know what, I'm kind of vibing with this lender and I like talking to them. And then you can like shop around for interest rate as well. So once you talk to that lender and they, get, your pre-approval, things like that, then that's like the first step that you go through. And just making sure that, that you give them all the information that they need. And I tell anybody, like, look, numbers wise, that's all the lenders. Like, I can help you find a house, but as far as like numbers, like how much, property tax and closing costs, all that stuff, like talk to your lender, because I can only give you like a rough estimate because of the, broad knowledge that I have of that. But your lender is going to be a numbers person. So once they get to that pre-approval process, and they say, okay, hey, you're approved for what, 300,000. And so I'm like, okay, great. So what type of house are you looking for? And then once they tell me, hey, I want a 3-bedroom, I want, 2 baths, I want a yard, I want a fence, I want that. And I said, okay, is there any like must-haves?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go and just start looking at a whole bunch of houses. And then you're like, oh, I'm so confused, because you look at a lot of houses, then it's like, okay, what do you absolutely want in your house or whatever, where you walk in and you say, oh, I absolutely love it. So once we get to that process and find out exactly what they want, then, we just say, okay, so we're going to search the market, and we're going to try to find out, is okay, what's out there that's kind of similar. You might not get every single thing that you want, but we're going to try to get close to it. And then letting us know what the area. And like you said, I'm licensed in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. So, different clients, different area, different cities, and like what's important to you, different things like that. And so once we get to that point, then we'll say, okay, all right, we're gonna get your information and we're gonna kind of like go like step by step, different things like that, and like try to find something. So we'll start out emailing different houses and say, okay, hey, I feel like, based on what you told me, you're like these houses. And then you'll just kind of like narrow them down, because what I don't want to do is look at like 50 different houses.
Yes.
And house and then that house and like that house. And then as we're going out, you can do videos, you can take pictures, different things like that, so you can remember. So but once we email, the houses, whatever, and narrow it down, then we actually make appointments. Some houses are empty. The owners or there's no tenant in the house, but we go out and we actually look at houses, and we ask them like, okay, rate this house from 1 to 10. And then you can rate the houses also. Okay, this is my number 1, number 2, number 3. So then you can kind of like start narrowing it down to your top 2 as far as your houses. So once you like say, okay, look, this is the house I love, can we go ahead and move forward? What I need to do? I said, okay, so the first thing is that First thing is that we definitely like, you know, because we have relationship with our lenders, we say, hey, you know, they're pre-approved for this amount. So we already looked at houses, they found the one they like. Just give you a heads up, this is the address that we're looking at. So we get down to like the paperwork wise. So we get down to the nitty-gritty, sit down with them and say, okay, what do you want to offer? And then, you know, some of them, they're like, I have no idea.
The most
But,
important.
yeah, they're like, I have no idea. But the biggest thing is that we tell our clients is that, okay, I can't tell you what, you know, to do. I can't tell you like what to offer because I don't know your pocket, right? So I can't tell you exactly like what number. I can't tell you like, okay, hey, well, maybe you know, do this or do that. I can only give you my recommendation based off of my professional opinion. But, you know, it's ultimately up to the buyer to, you know, what they want to offer. So we asked them, okay, for example, like, okay, purchase price. They might have a purchase price on there. And, you know, we have some clients, they know, you know, the system, they go on Zillow and they go on Trulia. It's like, well, no, I don't think
You know,
that
I was
house.
going to ask you about that. What are some good sites to use to look for houses? I'm glad that you said that.
So
And
I was like,
realestate.com.
yeah,
You don't
no,
like that one. You like it?
no.
No, don't tell us whether or not you like it. But that was just
Okay,
another one that I just threw out there.
okay, gotcha. So yeah, so you know, they get on those sites and they're like, oh, well, I don't feel like this house is, you know, worth this, so I'm just gonna, you know, lowball it. I'm like, well, no, I wouldn't necessarily do that. But you know, as getting into the numbers and different things like that, take different things into consideration. So we do tell them, okay, once you get to that point of making an offer, it's like, okay, what's your purchase price? The seller, even though the closing cost is the responsibility of the buyer, sellers do contribute to your closing costs. So we can ask them to contribute to that. And then also your earnest money. And we let them know earnest money is still your money. It's good faith money, pretty much. And how I explain it to them is that kind of like look at it as a security deposit and say, hey, this is, you showed the seller how serious you are about buying this house. So it's always your money. So what they're going to do is that they're going to take from your earnest money first to go towards your closing costs or whatever money you got to bring to closing. So it's not like you just, you know, giving your money away to somebody and you're not going to see it no more. You're going to see it. It might be on paper or, you know, sometimes you get money back.
Yeah, it's in the house that you just bought.
Right. Yeah. So just kind of going over like some of the.
You're investing in something that you want to become a homeowner. Earnest money.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, you know, this is, you know, kind of like, okay, some of the upfront stuff that you're gonna, you know, see different things like that. And so with the earnest money, you know, I said, well, I'm not in your pockets, whatever you're comfortable with. I know like in some places there's, you know, they like, okay, well, no less than this amount.
Yes.
But try to work with, you know, our clients and say, hey, you know, what are you comfortable with? Because I definitely don't want you to put yourself in a situation and then create a hardship for yourself.
Right. So, nobody should go into debt buying their house.
Right. I don't go get a loan to bring earnest money.
Yes.
I mean, some people have, you know, done that, but at the same time, it's like it was like an overall thing because everybody's situation is different.
Right.
But as far as like just like don't do that. Don't put that on yourself because I definitely don't encourage that. But you know, we get kind of go, okay, when do you want to close? So like usually with most lenders, it takes 30 days to close, 45 days. So, you know, they're like, oh man, that's like, I said, well, yeah, but some lenders can do quicker. It depends. Because we have an awesome lender here that he's done like, you know, long loans, you know, quicker than that, like 14 days. He's super awesome. But so like as far as, you know, just kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of that, just letting them know like what to expect and different like that. And then we also let them know about due diligence. So due diligence could be between 7 to 14 days. I've seen a little bit more, but kind of try to stay within that frame or whatever. But just explain to them that due diligence is pretty much your time to, like, say, okay, I definitely want this
Yeah, if
house.
you change your mind.
Right. So this is your time to do, all your inspections, to, kind of like walk around the house as many times as you need
Yeah.
to, like things
And
like
I think
that.
that's important, Tammy, is that you can go back to the house as many times as you need to go back to the house to make sure that that's the house that you want.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, in a reasonable amount of time.
I got you. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
You don't just go one time. You can go at least a few more times just to make sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll
Reasonable.
let hitting the table. But yeah, we'll definitely let the the owner know if it's occupied and say, hey, they just want to see the house one more time. So we do have that come up definitely and everything. So but that time is get your home inspection or whatever, and then during that time, usually like maybe 5-7 days from your buying agreement date. So kind of getting ahead of myself, but we can kind of track back. But so you have that time where you do give your earnest money, different things like that, and then you just like you said, make sure that this is absolutely the house that you want, because what our job is also is protect your earnest money.
Yes.
So like during that due diligence, it's like, hey, we keep track of it and say, hey, you on day 5, hey, you on day 7. So just making sure that you're still comfortable, making sure that you're still good, with the house and everything like that. Because during that due diligence period, like you said, you can change your mind for any reason. You can say, you know what, I found something better.
You can
Right.
negotiate too, because once you get that homeowner's inspection, there might be some things. And then if they're not willing to fix those things, then they could be negotiated into that price. And so a lot of people don't know that. And I think that what you just said, that's very important, because they will list the price at what they think. The homeowners will list the price at what they think their home is worth. But that doesn't mean that that's necessarily what their home is worth. And that's why you get the homeowner's inspection. And you also get an appraisal to see if you're paying what the house is worth, or if you're going to be paying more than what the house is worth. And I think that appraisal piece is key too. It's not always required, but it's something that I would say, get it to make sure that you're not overspending.
Right. Did you go to real estate school? No.
Well, I will tell you that I just have experience with buying houses. And so,
okay.
So we're in the real estate investment. I know we're not going to get into that part today, but we're in the real estate investing part. So yes, we are homeowners, but we also own real estate, multiple real estate properties. And so, yes, so we understand that. And I will also say to you that giving us these steps, breaking down this long process so that the audience can understand, and especially to our audience members who want to be homeowners, and for those that want to own multiple homes, is that the first step you said was to get approved. And then the second step was to know what you're looking for, where you're looking for it, and how you're looking for it. And then, to go looking at some houses. And then that third step you said was to make an offer. So once you've decided that that's what they want to do, you make an offer and you start going to the table, get your inspection, your appraisal, all of those wonderful things. And then, after the wait period, you decide, okay, so we're good with this. Then you go to your closing. And then guess what? You get them keys that day, and it's an experience like never before. It's awesome, Tammy. I appreciate the work that you're doing. I appreciate you taking the time out to explain to us, to make the long process into a straightforward process, and letting them know that it is a long process, but these are the basic steps that will get you through the long process. And thank you for doing that.
All right, no problem. I think I was talking about due diligence. Okay, so so with due diligence, just making sure that you absolutely love the house, different things like that. So at this point, we put in an offer, we negotiated, and definitely like offer is accepted and things like that. So I mean, everything is open to negotiation. So you don't want to think that, oh well, I put this offer in, and they're just going to say no. No, I mean, because sometimes they can counter back and they can say, well, what about this? So that's the negotiation process. And we kind of do that for you on your behalf.
And
And
so that
so,
sounds great, Tammy, but we need to move into
okay,
that last question. And so that's
okay,
why I was saying that once you guys get to the negotiation, I just kind of summarize the steps, and then we just move to that closing. They get their keys if everything is all right. So I have to
right.
move on to the next question. And so with that being said, I want to say again, thank you for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and, you know, just condensing into the smaller steps this long process. And so how does sharing your story today help others? Share any current and future plans that you have in real estate.
You said current and future plans?
Yes.
Okay. Right now, I did, like in October, I did get my associate broker's license here in Georgia. So I'm planning on eventually getting my broker's license in South Carolina as well. And then, like you said, I'm licensed in Florida. So right now I'm just kind of like, doing like planning on doing some marketing, different things like that to just kind of like boost the market for buyers and sellers. We didn't talk about sellers, but just kind of like, expand the horizon and just kind of like educate people what they need, whether it be investing or, just buying their forever home.
It sounds great. I do appreciate you coming on the show and telling us the home buyer's perspective, and then also letting us know, there's an investment perspective, and then there's also a seller's perspective. Oh, we can go on and on, but for the sake of the time of the show, we're going to keep it short. So go ahead and tell our audience how they can get in contact with you.
So they can find me on Facebook. You look up associate broker Tammie Blasingame. I can, definitely kind of send that information out. And then my email address is Tammy at thefeltongroup.net. You can send me an email. And then I'm not put my phone number on here, but but I do have a work cell that I do use. So if you just want to text or give me a call, my number is 912-215-9249. And I'll definitely answer. If I don't answer right away, I definitely will call you back. And so, just anybody that's looking to sell or buy a home in, whatever state, not only just in the 3 states that I'm licensed in, but I can refer you out in any state pretty much to make sure that you're taken care of.
That sounds amazing. So once again, for our audience, please contact Tammy for all of your real estate needs, buying and selling. She will get you to where you need to be. She will help you. She will make sure that you're educated going through the process. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being on here today. You are very, very experienced and knowledgeable in your field. I'm so glad that we had you on our show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next week we'll continue to discuss and have conversations about real experiences, personal and professional, stories that need to be shared, seen, and heard that makes us human. The truth will not be silenced, to be seen, to be heard, to be human. The surprise: if you like and leave a positive comment about this show, you will get a shout out. This includes businesses, organizations, products, services, and events. We want to give a special shout out to Eamon for leaving us a positive comment about season 2, episode 2. Thank you, Eamon. Following the link in our show notes, lets Buzzsprout know we sent you and help support our show. Buzzsprout is the best way to launch a professional podcast. Want to ask a question, be a guest, or subscribe to this podcast, The Truth Will Not Be Silenced? Click on the show link. Thank you so much for joining us.